Well, let's bring in now Michael Koplow, Chief Policy Officer at the Israel Policy Forum, who joins us from Washington. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate your time, Michael. Let me ask you, first of all, what are the potential next moves for Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Prime Minister Netanyahu still has a number of his stated goals that he would like to see fulfilled. One is, of course, the secure return of the 129 hostages that remain under Hamas control and captivity in Gaza. And the other is ensuring that Hamas's control over Gaza is no longer possible once the military operation is over. And I think what we're seeing now is this tension between the United States and other countries wanting to see the high intensity phase of the fighting wind down, while the Israeli government still has these goals that it is not fulfilled, that it wants to actually carry out.
And how do these tensions settle themselves? What is the way forward for this particular part of the conundrum for Israel?
There is lots of pressure inside of Israel to get the hostages back, and particularly the remaining women hostages, the elderly hostages, and the infirm hostages. And I think that's why we're seeing now so much churn and pressure around these hostage negotiations, where Israel wants to get these hostages back, but it simply isn't willing to do it at the price of ceasing its military operations completely. And I think it's likely that we'll see a deal in the weeks ahead, but the next few days really are going to be decisive.
And of course, the long-term issues regarding Gaza and regarding who potentially would be able to control Gaza is another key element that President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu clearly are having talks about right now behind the scenes.
Right. The Israeli government has been reluctant to discuss what is going to happen on the day after in Gaza before it has actually finished the high intensity phase of its military operation. And Prime Minister Netanyahu has laid out a number of things that he is not willing to see, most prominent being the return of the Palestinian Authority to Gaza. This puts Prime Minister Netanyahu at odds with the United States, which has consistently said that it views the Palestinian Authority as having a role in post-war Gaza. And we're starting to see some cracks in the Israeli position. Just today, Israel's national security advisor, Tzachi Hanegbi, published an op-ed in Arabic in a Saudi newspaper where he opened the door to a Palestinian Authority role in Gaza, assuming that there are reforms made to the Palestinian Authority. He was immediately criticized by more right-wing members of the government. So this is still very controversial inside of Israel as to what happens on the day after. But the United States is indeed pressuring the Israeli government to figure out what that will look like, particularly as most people expect that the high-intensity phase of the fighting is going to end in January.
Michael, thank you very much indeed for that. Michael Koplow, Israel-US political analyst from Washington. It's good to get you on the program and talk to you. Thank you very much.